Right now, reading this, you feel like this moment is new. You feel like you are moving forward through time, through your life, one second after another, always forward, never back. But what if that's wrong? Not metaphorically wrong, not philosophically wrong, mathematically wrong. What if this exact moment, this breath, this thought, this feeling of reading these words has already happened to you an infinite number of times? And what if science, not mysticism, not religion, not ancient philosophy, actual modern physics, says that's not just possible, it's inevitable? In 1894, a French mathematician named Henri Poincaré was working on a problem about planetary orbits. He wasn't looking for anything strange, he was just doing math. And then he found something that stopped him cold. He proved that any system with a finite amount of energy moving through a finite amount of space will eventually return to a state almost identical to where it started. Not similar, almost identical. Every atom, every particle, every position returned. He called it the recurrence theorem, and for a century most people treated it as a curiosity, an interesting footnote in physics. They were wrong to dismiss it, because Poincaré hadn't just proved something about planets, he had proved something about everything, including you. Here's what that actually means. Your body is made of approximately 7 octillion atoms. That's a 7 followed by 27 zeros. Those atoms are arranged in a specific configuration right now, the exact configuration that makes you, in this moment, thinking this thought. Poincaré's theorem says that in an infinite universe, which ours appears to be, every possible configuration of matter must eventually repeat. Not might repeat, must. The math doesn't leave room for exceptions. Given enough time, every atom in your body will find its way back to exactly this arrangement, the same memories, the same thoughts, the same moment, again. Physicists calculated roughly how long this takes. The number is so large it makes the current age of the universe, 13.8 billion years, look like a single second in an infinite film. We're talking 10 to the power of 10 to the power of 115 years. A number so vast it has no name, a number humans genuinely cannot visualize. But here's the part that should stop you cold. In an infinite universe, that number doesn't matter, because infinity absorbs it completely, without effort. If time is infinite, and nothing in physics currently rules that out, then every possible moment will occur, including this one, over and over and over again. In 1882, Friedrich Nietzsche published a thought experiment. He called it the eternal recurrence. Imagine, he said, a demon appears to you in your loneliest moment, and the demon tells you, this life as you now live it and have lived it, you will have to live once more and innumerable times more. Every pain and every joy, every thought and sigh, everything unutterably small or great, all returned to you in the same succession and sequence. Then Nietzsche asked one question. Would that devastate you, or would it set you free? He wasn't writing fiction. He believed this was literally true, and he thought how you answered that question revealed everything about the life you were actually living. If the thought of living this exact life again, forever, filled you with despair, Nietzsche said that was a sign that you were living the wrong life. But if the thought filled you with something else, something like relief or even joy, then you had found what he called amor fati, love of fate, the complete acceptance of everything that happens, not just tolerating your life, wanting it again, wanting it infinite times. Nietzsche himself said this was the most terrifying idea he had ever conceived. He wrote in his notebook that the thought came to him one afternoon while walking in the Swiss Alps by a lake. He sat down on a rock. He couldn't move for hours. This idea did that to him. But here's where it gets harder to dismiss, because in the late 19th century, physicists started building on Poincaré's work with something they called quantum recurrence. And what they found was stranger than anything Nietzsche had imagined. In quantum mechanics, particles don't have fixed positions. They exist in superpositions, clouds of probability smeared across space until something forces them to collapse into a single location. Hugh Everett III was a physicist at Princeton. In 1957, he proposed what is now called the many worlds interpretation, the idea that every time a quantum event occurs, every time a particle could go left or right, exist or not exist, the universe doesn't choose, it splits. One universe where it went left, one universe where it went right, both equally real, both continuing forward. If Everett was right, and a growing number of physicists believe he was, then there is a version of this moment playing out in every possible variation. Every decision you ever faced, every word you ever said, every moment you almost didn't survive, all of them are happening right now, in parallel, in universes you will never reach. And in some of those universes, a version of you is living the life you were too afraid to choose. Now here's the part nobody talks about. You have felt this before, not metaphorically, literally. That sensation where you're certain you have already lived this exact moment, the conversation, the light in the room, the exact feeling. Déjà vu. For most of history, it was dismissed as a glitch, a misfiring synapse, a trick of tired eyes. But in 2006, neuroscientist Akira O'Connor at the University of St. Andrews ran the first brain imaging study on people experiencing déjà vu in real time. What he found was unexpected. The areas of the brain that activated during déjà vu were not the memory centers. They were the decision-making centers, the frontal regions, the parts of your brain associated with checking your own memories for errors. Your brain wasn't misremembering, it was catching itself. O'Connor argued déjà vu might actually be a sign of a healthy brain, one that's actively monitoring itself, flagging moments where something feels too familiar to be a coincidence. Too familiar. So here's where we land. Poincaré's math says this moment will return. Nietzsche says your answer to that fact defines the entire meaning of your life. Everett says infinite versions of this moment are already happening right now, and your own brain keeps flagging certain moments as ones it has somehow already seen. You feel like you are moving forward 1 second after another, always forward, never back. But what if forward and back are just the words we use because we don't have better ones yet? What if this moment isn't a point on a line moving toward an end? What if it's a point on a circle with no beginning and no end? The ancient Greeks didn't believe in linear time. They believed in cyclical time, eternal return, the same idea Nietzsche had, the same conclusion Poincaré's math reached, the same thing your brain whispers to you in those strange, quiet seconds of déjà vu. You have been here before. You will be here again. And the only question that has ever mattered, the one Nietzsche was asking, is whether the life you are living right now is one you would choose to live again, infinite times, forever. Because according to the math, you already are.